Everybody, hey, welcome to this episode of the Noteless Show for a Money Monday. I hope you are doing well. What a crazy weekend. I won't get into too much of the politics today, but just pray. That's all I can say. Pray for America. Pray for both parties. Pray for the families of those that lost their lives. Pray for the shooter's family too, because I guarantee they're not in a good spot today as well. But anyway, hope you all are doing great. Hope you all had a great weekend. Otherwise, definitely a busy weekend around here for the most part. But I wanted to share today's topic is something I see a lot of people struggling with because we are all such control freaks. Welcome to the Control Freaks Not Anonymous. Yes, I've been a control freak. I'm a real estate investor, right? I'm an investor. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a control freak, right? That's what it all comes down to. It's oftentimes why we all get into entrepreneurship. It's because we want to do more faster because we think we can do a better job ourselves. The biggest problem I see that takes place over and over and over again is things fall through the cracks. Things like not posting to social, not reaching out to IRA investors, not following up with offers, not even emailing your database. Okay. One of the things that we've done in the years when we hosted our mid-year note camp, I need to be announcing some of that stuff here shortly in the next week or two about the dates for that, because we will be having that in August. And August for September. But anyway, one of the things that we would always ask, we always send a survey out and people ask, answer about 25 questions. And the thing that we see people struggle with is one of the questions first I ask them is, how often do they email their database? And it's always overwhelmingly never. Maybe once a month, but for the most part, never. And the rare, those that do send out at least weekly email backs, there's a complete divide. We're not talking like a little gap. We're talking like between here and Jupiter gap, between those that are successful, raising money, finding deals, closing deals versus those that want to. Because a lot of people want, but they're not willing. All right. That's the biggest thing. We all want, but we're not willing. We're not willing to get uncomfortable in a lot of cases. And a lot of times growing yourself means getting outside of your comfort level to do things, or if you can't do it, not worrying about who, but how. And a lot of times we get so worried about who's going to do it, and the who ends up being us most of the time because we're control freaks, because we can do it better than anybody else can. I get it. Love you. But let's face it, getting something 70% done and allowing you to do something that's more valuable with your time allows for you to come out ahead. I mean, many of us are doing $15 an hour jobs, and that's why we got a $15 hour bank account. Okay. If you're not happy with where you're at, the first thing you need to do is hire an assistant. That's one of the biggest things that was just absolutely rammed into my head for years from my mentor, especially Roland Frazier, who's a phenomenal guy out there, taught me the power of this. Hey, if you want to make six figures, hire an assistant of some sort. I know most of us are like, oh my God, I don't want to hire an assistant. I got to jump through all, interviews and dealing with taxes. That's why we always say, look, hire a virtual assistant. This last Saturday, actually Saturday morning, we had a rebroadcast of the Virtual Assistant Masterclass with Bob LaChance and Preston Strata from Riva Global, Real Estate VAs. They've got a whole company that's focused on virtual assistants just for real estate investors. And guess what? Yes, they understand the note business because a lot of our successful coaching students are using VAs from them to do a lot of variety of things. And that's what I want to go with you guys today are the 21 things. I think I said 12. I thought about 12 things, but I said I came up with 21 things between the time I posted it this morning as a reminder email to the call today. And these are the 21 things that you can delegate immediately to a VA. Immediately. No, not $20 an hour. No, we're going through all that filing. None of that crap. You hire a Riva Global 20 hours a week to get the ball rock rolling, or hire somebody on your own self if you're that big a control freak. Okay. But the biggest problem that we see is that, like I said, people aren't getting stuff done. They're not following with asset managers. They want to call asset managers, but they drop the ball somewhere else. They're not posting to socials. They'll tell the people who the hell they are. They're not following up to a whole variety of things that you need to do as a note investor. But if you try to do it all yourself, you're going to be very limited. I always say that note investors are pretty good about getting their first 20 deals done by themselves. But if you ever want to grow more than that, you're going to learn to delegate and get rock and roll. So let's share the things that starting right off the bat. These are the 21 tasks that you can delegate to a virtual assistant today. Okay. That will immediately see progress. You will immediately see value in these items to have somebody else get these things done that you're not getting done. Okay. I don't care what you're worth, but here's the one thing you have to realize about you need to know your worth. You need to know your hourly worth. What are you worth an hour? Is it $15 an hour? Well, that's the case. Go flip burgers at Dairy Queen or Burger King or whatever king or queen fast food you want to do. I know California, $20 an hour. Woo! Barely getting by and barely getting by. What I want to get at here is if you want to make 6 figures a year, that's the first thing a lot of people want to. It's $100,000 a year. Okay. You divide that by 50 weeks of the year. What's that come down to? $2,000 a week, divide that by 40 hours a week, that's $50 an hour. Anything that you do below $50 an hour is below your pay grade. You will never reach 6 figures by doing $15 an hour jobs. Now, if you're doing something at $50 an hour, great, or above that, and your 15 hour get done, delegate it to somebody to get done. Now you're not just making $50 an hour, you're making $65, $70 an hour because you're doing your $50 an hour and somebody else is doing that 20. And you're getting more stuff done. You're exponentially growing your business. And these are things that are all going to immediately see a bottom, increasing your bottom line by getting the stuff done that you're not getting done. Now, first part, contacting and growing your database. This is one of the things that is just a pet peeve. The aspect of sending an email blast out to your database, your warm market, it goes back 20, 30 years till email was created. It's still going to be around a long time. And we still get bombarded with emails. It's still the most effective way, and it's not getting done. So guess what? As we've shown on here before, you can jump on AI, Bard, ChatGPT, type in and instantly create 52 email newsletters and then have them create 52 500 to 1,000 word newsletters that can go out to your email database, your warm market. That will help your audience stay in touch. We sent an email blast out this past week talking about the need for people to step up and contact the Texas Department of Savings and Lending, say, no, we don't need you to require RMLOs to be licensed or be employed by a bank. It was a big push. Well, I've got a warm database. I mean, I've got a big database, about 100,000 people, right? Well, I don't send an email to every one of those. I've segregated my list out. But the fact I still touch base with them, when I sent an email blast to all contacts this past Tuesday and Wednesday, it was still an overwhelming amount of people that responded, that clicked on the link, that went and reached out. Okay. Your email newsletter is one of the few things that you own realistically, not your social media. You don't own your social media profiles because they can shut you down immediately and not have anything. Your email list is still the most valuable thing. Your text message blast, or in my case of podcasting, my RSS feed. Okay. 3 things that I own that I'm built my ground on. But the first thing, most of you guys, is your email list. Send an email. You could go on there and type, hey, give me 52 email news articles for the 52 weeks of the year, have it holiday themed or whatever like that, about note and real estate investing mix and similar things. I mean, they can give you it, but have it be done for you in just a few minutes. Well, guess what? That only takes you 5-10 minutes to create. The big thing is now, how do I get it written? And that's where most of you drop the ball. Well, guess what? Hire a VA, copy and paste what you create in AI, post it to Basecamp or some other file sharing service, or email it to them. Have them go into your Keep or your Active Rain and start pre-writing these letters and pre-scheduling to go out to your database. Get her done. All right. That's the 2 things right there you can have done that will immediately start seeing interactions with your database. Weekly emails, once a week email to your newsletters. Okay. Also, have your VA copying that newsletter and then either starting your own independent newsletter on a different source, different website, or just going over to LinkedIn and creating a LinkedIn newsletter to post there. And then sharing that link across your socials. Get people to start subscribing to you. That's some of the easiest things that people aren't doing. Okay. You could have them research articles for you. We haven't talked about that. Have them research other note investors on LinkedIn, or other note investors, note buyers from different conferences or different events going on. We've focused on the IMN events before because they share a lot of the people that are going, like the job title and the company. Well, I had a VA go on there and I say, hey, scrub this list. Here's the list of job titles and name or contact companies, and go out and find the individuals on LinkedIn. And you know what they did? They went out and found them. That's one of the things that we give to our coaching students. Like, hey, here's a list of people that are going to these events. Here's their LinkedIn profile. Let's have you start targeting them on Octopus, start growing your database of asset managers there, okay? Use your VA to create SMS blasts, by creating deal images in Canva and something that you can send out to your email, your text message blast, your SMS contacts. You can use Keep or Easy Texting or some other service to contact your funding sources just to keep them in the loop. Hey, what's going on? Here's the deal that we're working on. Finding asset managers, okay? People want to find more deals. They don't want to go to the crappy websites that are out there that don't have much of anything. How do we find asset managers? Well, I'm going to pick up the phone and call. You can do that, or you can be smart and work smarter and not so harder. Use a VA to research note sellers or note funds from conferences, events, just like we talked about. Find their contact information and go out and start contacting them. Reach out to them on LinkedIn. Use Octopus CRM and then the follow-up service. Or if you pull an email list and you send an email blast out and it gives you responses, have them reach out to the responders or reach out to companies. Hey, are you selling notes right now? What do you have available? Have them go to the different websites and go to the contact page and reach in it and type in their contact information, stuff that you don't need to be doing. Okay. Find their LinkedIn profiles, find those people's things and reach out to them. Okay. And automate these connections. Literally, you can find a ton of note sellers. How you can actually, there's a few firms. This is one of the things that we teach our coaching students, that if you're buying contract for deed, there used to be a big seller of actually a couple big sellers of contract for deeds. Well, contract for deed is registered differently at the county records than it is a note because it's a deed transfer. So it's pretty easy to pull. Well, I can go back in 4, 5, 6 years and see every contract for deed that was sold by this company by going to like the bigger counties in America in the Midwest. And I can pull a whole list of entities that bought contract for deeds from them. Well, what do? I give that list my VA. Hey, go find and see if they're still in business and go find their information, website, and let's reach out to them and lead to deals. Okay. Same thing. You can use AI to create a bi-monthly email, something simple that goes to asset managers for note deals, and have the VA go into your CRM, upload those, and guess what? Set it and forget it. Schedule it, set it, and forget it. If you like foreclosures in a specific area or probates or stuff like that, use a VA to research those leads or those lists that you pull in those counties. And I like to pull the foreclosure lists in a couple of different counties because I like to target like smaller banks. Or we'll look at who's foreclosing because they've got a non-performing note. If they're a private entity or an LLC, they may be willing to sell that note. Or it leads to a potential deal. Or guess what? If they foreclose and sell it, especially with private investors that we see on there, it could be a potential funding source as well. Because on a lot of these foreclosure lists, you'll see a self-directed IRA company or an LLC who's the foreclosing entity. Hey, that person lent money, or even private individuals. We've had success with that as well. Okay. Making offers. All right. A lot of people who are working full-time jobs or trying to do something other besides note investing, they're like, Scott, I don't have enough time in the day. Oh man, if I need another 40 hours, like you don't need 40 hours. If you put in 5 to 10 hours a week, you can find these things. Now, trying to do this all yourself, yes, that will delay success. But guess what? If you start delegating some of these tasks to be taking place while you're at the job, you'll come home and a lot of this stuff will be done for you that you can implement to the next level. Making offers, sharing your due diligence process, or taking the video of me breaking down a tape, which is what a lot of people have done, giving it their VA to understand it, and going through a tape and narrowing that tape down to the hot list. Okay. Now, what do you do with that hot list? Then you have them take the next step and pull values, look at rental numbers, look at run some estimated ROIs, check the taxes, back taxes out. Okay. Have the VA pull photos of that property and create infographics that you can share in social or share to your IRA investors or share to your email database, creating infographics of the deals that you're working on in your newsletter. Okay. On the deals that you're making offers on, they're looking to have them jump on and do some social sleuthing, check out their LinkedIn profiles or Facebook profiles or whatever profiles they can find, have them do a skip trace through Spokio or whitepages.com to find contact information. Pretty simple to do. One thing that most people fail to do is follow up. So when I make an offer on a tape or an asset and it doesn't get accepted, or I counter back and fade my bid and it doesn't get accepted, I naturally put a star on my calendar to go back and follow up in 30 and 60 days on the offers. Or if I find out that a tape was bought like the whole tape. Oh, the guy did not sell it off individually. He sold the whole tape to one thing. Great. I will follow up and use my VA to find the sellers or find the buyers of those assets in 30, 60 days. And then I'll follow up with them as well. Hey, I saw that you bought the whole tape. Are you still interested in maybe selling a few of these? Okay. That's a great way we've gotten this. Or, hey, I saw that you bought mine. Mine is a bulk. Are you still interested in maybe selling it? Maybe I can buy that one from you. Just that follow-up process alone will double your deals. Okay. And you don't necessarily have to do it. Just put it in there. Hey, VA, hey, Priscilla, send an email to this individual on such and such date asking them about these assets. Did they sell them? Did they buy them? That kind of stuff. Now, in 30, 60 days, you should see an assignment on mortgage that gets filed at the county. I've taught VAs to go on there and look at this asset, see if there's a new assignment of mortgage filed from this entity, in this county. Pretty easy to check that stuff. Okay. And same thing, have VA find note sellers and buyers and contact. There's some of these websites out there. Go to them individually, research who the seller is on these websites and contact her directly. 9 times out of 10, it leads to more tapes or more assets that aren't even publicized that we can take down. And you know what? I don't have to spend the time researching. I get my VA the next day, later in the week, it's done while I'm busy doing something else and having fun. Raising capital is one big thing that people struggle with. They're scared to have a conversation. I can't delegate that conversation. You need to be speaking to your investors, but guess what? Your VAs can definitely take it to the next level by pulling a list of self-directed IRA investors from the county records. I mean, we've shown people how to do this. We've literally given the videos to Reba Global before. All right. Use the VAs to skip trace the investors on socials, their contact information, whitepages.com, their mailing addresses. Using AI, artificial intelligence, to create 6 emails or letter campaign and have the VAs contact the investors, either email so we can pull that information, or we put it together in a letter that's mail merged that you can just then go print and send, or send it to a mailing house. We talked about this briefly before, but having a VA create infographics on the deals and share to your social media profiles using buffer.com. This is one tool that we use. We would give our buffer.com access, and Buffer is connected to LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Okay. They can go into buffer.com and pre-schedule 7 days worth of content, or up to 14, it's up to 100 posts that can be scheduled at any given time. So they would go in there and pre-schedule stuff out basically a week to 2 weeks in advance. And a lot of times for articles, or if you're looking at deals to close or deals you've done, social proof is one of the easiest ways to raise capital. It's also an indirect way of raising capital. So, hey, do you have money to invest? If you keep posting and you keep following up, all right, following up on your socials of what you're doing, and that, hey, I buy notes or I invest in notes, you will stay top of mind with your contacts. Posting one thing on LinkedIn 5 months ago isn't going to stay top of mind. Posting one thing last week on Facebook isn't staying top of mind. You have to understand the algorithms work on these socials that, it may only be good for a day or two. It may be only good for an hour. You've got to repost on a regular basis, and that's okay. Yes, I got to go do this all myself. It can seem overwhelming because you're a control freak. Kill the control freak by delegating to a virtual assistant, okay? Realize they're not going to be perfect at all. You're going to have to coach them a little bit. But them doing this is going to be 80% of the way, and delivered equals success. Perfection equals broke. If you're a perfectionist and you're not getting stuff done, you're your biggest issue. You are the bottleneck that is stopping success from happening. If you can remove you from the equation and get more things done, guess what? More things are going to get done. You're getting more deals in, you're going to raise more capital, and you're going to have more success, so that that 5 or 10 or 15 hours a week that you really are putting to your note business or real estate business outside of your JOB is much more fruitful, it's much more productive, and you're doing higher dollar activities versus minimum wage activities. Okay, I think that's it. Any questions about that stuff there, guys? 21, 22 things. A lot of kind of are cross-connected in one form or fashion. You use Octopus for a variety of reasons. You're going to use your email blast. You're going to use a text message. You're going to create infographics not only in helping you raise capital, but also connecting it and being social proof to asset managers. This is not a difficult thing to do. You just have to realize, okay, I'm going to have to spend $200 a week on average, maybe a little bit more, because I think it's $10 an hour more. But if you hire Riva, guess what? They're educated. They're trained in most of the things. They're going to need a few tweaks. on what you do. And look, I've used them before, love them, absolutely love what I do. When we're ramping up projects, that's the first thing I do. Here, go do this. All right. The idea is put systems in place where you don't have to do it. So if you want to take a vacation, you ain't got to work. If you want to take 3 weeks off and go to Europe for the Olympics or whatever it might be, great, go do it. These things can still be done for you, where then all you got to do is check your email once every other day with a check-in, see what's worked. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, how do they report? Well, every day they're supposed to send you a report of what they got accomplished. And part of it is you review that, great, that looks good, or no, that doesn't look good, tweak this. Like I would give access to, yes, I literally gave access to my LinkedIn. I gave access to Bigger Pockets. I gave access to my Canva account, email, stuff like that. I gave access to people, or I gave them spreadsheets of context where they could go and scrub that stuff or pull that information. And then they can upload the stuff for me, and then all I need to upload and send. These are professionals. It's not some guy standing out in front of Apple will work for a VA. Like your weekend laborers in front of Home Depot or Lowe's. Okay. You know, many of these people speak great English. It's one thing people, can I have them call? Yeah, you can have them make phone calls if you give them a script. Okay. There's a lot of different things you can do, but those are the most important things. The 21 days, you know what it is? It's basically your 30 for 30 calendar. If you've ever seen me gone through the workshop, I give you 30 different tactics to be doing on a monthly basis in 30 days and get them done. Guess what? You can basically delegate that to a VA most of the time. You can't delegate you showing up to an event or networking or hosting or recording a video. But guess what? You can take your video, if you're going to record something, and share it. Have your VA go and rebroadcast or cut it up, slice and dice it, and share it to your socials. There's a whole lot of great things you can do. It's the 21st century. I can't tell you this enough, ladies and gentlemen. Many of us are stuck in our ways where, you know, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, guess what? Don't do it then, but somebody else is going to do it. Somebody's going to beat you to the punch. Okay. And what you'll find is that the things that you do, if you do enough of these things to get rock and roll, at some point, hey, there you already have enough investors. You've got enough IRA investors. You'll have enough deal flow. You'll cut back and have them doing different things, more due diligence for them. Maybe you'll cut them loose and drop them down to 10 hours a week, or maybe you'll bump up to 40 because you're like, oh, I can do double the amount. Whatever your dream is, you can accomplish it, but you can do it a whole lot faster by having somebody on your team to get done. Like $200 a week, I get it. That's $800 a month. That's still cheaper than hiring somebody full time. I'll tell you that right now. It's also, they're more efficient, they're more grateful, and they just do a better job. Their work ethic just seems to be so far superior. There are some things, don't get me wrong, not everybody has a bad work ethic. I mean, somebody who ran a staff here and had a second mortgage payment or 2 separate mortgage payments, basically because I had offices here. One of the smartest things I've ever done was hire VAs to take it to the next level to help me delegate, just to get the things that need to be done in a more efficient, more professional, and clear fashion. All right. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? Like I'll give you an example. Like, I mean, Don, you're researching tax liens. You could have your, buying in tax liens. You could have your VA do a lot of research off these lists. Go look at the values. Go look at things. Lisa, you're in Michigan. You're trying to find more IRA investors. Have them scrubbing in Michigan counties or in Florida counties for you and Darlene to have that conversation with, and then doing the due diligence. All right. It's not that difficult. You just got to do it. It's got to spend a little bit of time, but the only way you get better is stepping outside your comfort zone. The only way you're going to, if you're not following up, if you're truly honest with yourself, you're not following up enough. If I'm not following up with asset managers, not following up with your database, warm database, and you're not following up with your funding partners on a regular basis. You need to do those things because otherwise they're going to die in the vine. They'll go somewhere. And that's the last thing you want is hear about somebody who invested with somebody that should have invested with you. All right. That's all that I've got for this morning. Unless you got any questions, comments, concerns out there, ladies and gentlemen. This coming Saturday, we do have the upcoming Note Weekend, our one-day class on Saturday. I have to go in and create the Zoom link for that. But that will be this coming Saturday. If you want to join in, feel free to noteweekend.com, get registered, and we'll send you a link to it. No cost to tune in and make some tweaks to it. We're also going to be spending a big chunk of time in the next 2 weeks revamping our note training with some new online classes and stuff like that to go along. We're pretty excited about that. So any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. Well, hey, have a great week. Be safe out there. God bless you.